Beautiful.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to my absolutely messy garage. Yeah, as you can tell, I haven't cleaned up anything at all, so yeah, don't pay that no attention. Got golf cart parts laying everywhere. Got a roof for it, seats for it, and all my other junk in there. So today, wow. So yeah, guys, this is where the video is going to be taking place today because I'm dumb, and I left my keys in my wife's car, and she is like halfway across the state right now, so there's no way she's going to bring the keys back to me, which is fine. I mean, I understand that. But if you can't tell by the title and thumbnail of this video, we're going to be doing the pros and the cons of a carb swap 5-liter Mustang, which is of course going to be 94-95 specific. But guys, with all that being said, I do want to mention I do have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers this year by the end of this year, by December 31st. So if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and stay up to date with all the videos, I'd really appreciate it, and it'd really help out the channel. So what should I start with, the pros or the cons? I got an idea. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this quarter, and if it lands on heads, start with the pros, lands on tails, start with the cons. Boop. And what do we got here? You got tails. Tails never fails. Okay, we're starting with the cons, which I have 3 each. I have 3 cons and 3 pros. Okay guys, so number 1 for the cons is definitely going to be the rewiring aspect of the carb swap. It's not that it's really that hard, it's just kind of tedious and time consuming. Because what you have to do is, you have to find a power wire with the switch on, cut into it and splice into it or whatever, solder it and take and run it to the fuel pump, to the distributor, and so on and so forth. And it does take a little bit of time, and it is a little bit aggravating having to lay on your back up underneath the dash all crunched up under there. And I'm not a bigger, I'm not a big dude, but it's still kind of cramped up for me under the dash finding wires and junk. So that's definitely con number 1, is the rewiring aspect of it. Okay guys, so that's going to bring us to con number 2, which is definitely going to be the cold starts on this car with the particular carburetor I have. It will not idle when it's cold. Like whenever you first crank it, you have to, sit there and feather the throttle so it will run and stay running. After the car gets warmed up, it's perfectly fine, no issues, it idles perfect. So I actually have another carburetor here that I can show you the reason why mine doesn't idle very good on cold starts, but let me show you what I'm talking about. And the reason why mine does not do cold start idles good at all is because of this choke horn here. See, this thing right here is called the choke horn, and this is your choke plate. See, my carburetor does not have that. So what you do whenever it's cold outside or just cold start in general, even during the summer, you take and close this plate right here, which this one's a manual, and you got a cable that attaches to here and goes to the inside of the car, and you pull it closed, and that way whenever you go to start it, it starts better and it idles better at cold start. And the reason mine doesn't is because, like I said, I do not have this choke plate or choke horn. Mine's pretty much just a performance carburetor, and that's all it's meant for. It's not really meant for great drivability or anything like that. And it does add a little bit of horsepower considering my car doesn't have the choke horn, which is essentially trying to suck air over and down into the carburetor instead of just directly into it. And during the winter, guys, this thing can be actually really aggravating to start because it doesn't have the choke horn or the choke plate. Just because the way the air is so cold, and it's not, it's not like a fuel injected system where it compensates fuel for temperature outside. Carburetors, of course, do not, but it will start. It's just sometimes it's really, really aggravating. It'll start and run for a few seconds and shut off. Start, run for a few more seconds, and then shut off again. But once you get it warmed up, it's just fine, runs good, no problems. So that's definitely going to be number 2. The cold starts in this car definitely aren't good. Okay, so that brings us to con number 3. I know you can see my dog in the background right now. I have no idea what he's doing. Puppy, come here. Come here, puppy. What you doing? You gonna say hey to the camera? Say hello, everybody. Say I love my butt to be scratched. Okay, so back to con number 3, which is I don't think a carb swap looks as good as the regular EFI that comes on the car. I don't think it's as nice looking. And what I mean is if you got a really nice trick flow intake and BBK throttle body, cold air intake, nice fuel rails and things like that, I just think it looks so much better than the carb swap. It looks more modern, it looks more sleek, and just overall to me just looks so much better. And I'll show you what I mean right here. I'll throw up a couple of pictures of my car, which is carb swapped, and also a car of which is, got a good trick flow intake and manifold and nice throttle body and stuff like that. You see what I mean? I think it looks so much better. Now, I'm not saying that mine's not clean and it doesn't look good. I just don't think it looks as good as, a nice EFI system. Okay guys, so that's gonna do it for my 3 cons. Now we gotta get to the pros. Okay guys, so number 1 for me for the positives is definitely gonna be how easy they are to work on if you carb swap them like this. Let me show you what I mean. Like literally I can get to every single thing on this car without having to take plenums off. Like I don't have to take the plenum off to change the valve cover gaskets or the injectors or anything like that. If I want to adjust the valves, I just take the valve covers off, adjust them, put them back on, and that's all I have to do. Even taking the intake off of this is so much easier. Like all I have to do is take and pull this fuel line off. I don't even have to take the carburetor off if I didn't want to. Then I just take the bolts out and literally just pull it loose and pop it off. I'd have to take the distributor out, of course, but that's easy enough. But yeah guys, like I say, there's just so much more room for everything. Like you can get to everything so much easier. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've been neglecting my car and this thing is filthy. It's okay, baby. We'll get you washed up soon enough. Always remember guys, you gotta pet your pony at least once a day to keep her happy. Okay, enough of the weird stuff. Anyways, definitely number 1's gonna be it's so much easier to work on. Just there's so much room for everything. You can get to everything so much easier. Not saying that the EFI systems on the car are hard to work on to start with, but it just takes so much less time with the way it is now. Okay, so that brings us to number 2, which is going to be it's a lot cheaper and a lot easier to tune on the carb swap than it is the EFI. I'll show you what I'm talking about with the carburetor that I just was showing you guys earlier. Okay, so let's say your car is running a little lean and you want to take and put a couple of cc's of jets in it. Say you're running 64s and you want to go up to a 66. Well, all you'd have to do is take, with the carburetor on the car, take these 4 bolts out, pull this fuel bowl off, the fuel bowl off, taking inside this metering plate, there's going to be 2 jets, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and they're flathead style. All you have to do is screw them out and screw different jets back in, whichever number you want. And it's literally that easy to, you know, get the fuel the way you want it. And as many of you guys may know, if you have the EFI system and you take it to a dyno shop and they take and put it on the dyno and tune it, that's going to be a good $500 to $600. And for your boy here, that's a whole lot of money. Now don't get me wrong, do I like EFI? Yeah, I like EFI a lot and I would still have it today. And I've actually been thinking about switching back just because I want something different. And if you guys think I should switch, you know, let me know down in the comments below. If I get enough support on it, I'll switch it back. So that's going to bring us to the final pro, which is going to be the parts are so cheap. I mean, I got the carburetor, the intake, and the distributor, which is the main parts you need for the swap for like, I think it was around $800. And that's for a good Demon carburetor, a HEI distributor that works fine. I know I have a bunch of people who hate on it because they say, oh, it's a Chevy distributor. Like, no, it works fine. It's like a 40,000 or 50,000 volt distributor. I mean, it puts out plenty of spark and does exactly what I need it to do. And for a really nice like trick flow EFI setup, say you get a trick flow intake, injectors, fuel rail, BBK throttle body, and cold air intake, and you know everything you pretty much need for a nice upper end setup, you're going to spend around $2,000 because the intakes are $600, the injectors are $500, the fuel rail is $500. You know, throttle body and intake is also going to be a good maybe $200 to $300. So you're talking, you know, around at least $2,000 to get a really good upper end kit. And I'm not saying it's not worth it. Like, that stuff's really good stuff. It's performance proven. It works really well. And I really am actually thinking about going back to EFI myself. But guys, that's going to do it. That is my 3 pros and 3 cons for the carb swap on these 5.0 liter Mustangs. If you like the video, guys, be sure to smash the like button down below. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do that. Hit the notification bell and stay up to date with all the videos and all the videos that are going to be coming out. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I really appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you.